2020 was certainly the most vulnerable year in my entire life. And that has made me exponentially stronger.
Awesome. And how does vulnerability equal strength?
So a little bit of background story is 2019, Cote was on fire. It was packed to the gills, so many happy employees, so many happy customers. Literally, everything that can go right went right. And then March came and government mandated closure happened. So imagine, it's a full waltz, everybody's dancing to the music, and boom, not only lights are out, music's out, there's complete darkness, and everything came to stop. And we had to lay off the 100 and some employees, and everything came to stop. And I was fearing for survival of the restaurant and everybody else. And that literally completely changed my life entirely. So I was thinking about how to make profitable restaurant, how to expand, how to cultivate our employees. And then from there, it went to complete survival mode. How do we survive? And I think Mike Tyson said it the best. So everyone walks into a ring with a game plan until they get punched in the mouth. New York restaurant industry didn't just get punched in the mouth. I feel like we got sledgehammered to the face. And if you ended up with a fractured skull, lucky you, because some of us actually died instantly on the spot. So completely there's no lack of control, uncomfortable, how do I survive? And I thought I was completely helpless. And then I started to ponder and started to realize I was actually not helpless. There was help all around us. My partners and my management, and we came together and we discussed and we realized that we are here to support each other and band together and realized and came to a conclusion that only way out of this crisis, the life-threatening, the most endangered situation we all have collectively ever felt, only way out of the situation is only forward. There was no option to retreat. There's no way of detouring. We just had to band together and break through the wall. And that's what we did. And we came together, and from then on, we started doing delivery. Korean steakhouse, tabletop barbecue experience. How do you actually deliver? But we did. And then from then on, we started selling our dry aged steak. And that, when guests were going out to Hamptons or, upstate, we're selling steak care package. And before you know it, we partner with the national delivery platform, and we're sending steak to Hawaii before you know it. And then outdoor dining was allowed. And from then on, we're selling fried chicken with frosé, like a summer shack. And from then on, indoor dining started to be okay. So we did 25%, indoor, outdoor, juggling, and here we are, and through the extreme vulnerability, and that made us fight for our life. And when you are fighting for your life, the strength that you didn't know you had start to shine, and all the talents of all the employees that you had, all the team members you had, the partners you had, they all start to rise to the top. And now, as much as I'm fearing for what's to come, it may get worse before it gets better, but we are so much stronger than we were when we walked into this pandemic. And I feel like it's been a true vulnerability that we faced, but that has given us an opportunity to become exponentially stronger.
So 2020 really sucked.
Yeah, why?
COVID hit, mandatory restaurant closure happened right after. We had to let go about 100 of our employees, and there was no answer to what was going to happen next.
So what happened? And it closed. I remember you said a story about you and Simon hung out in the park.
Yeah, so midst of this COVID, there was a lot of going back and forth. Do we open? Do we close? How do we go about this? And we really Simon drove me home one night. We sat at a park, and we had a 6-pack of Corona. And we were talking and we discussed how do we go about this. And Simon asked the question, Chef, what do we do? And I know what that meant, as how deep that question was. And I told Simon that we had to go, we had to move. We have the momentum. And for me, to be honest, if we were to stop now and recreate this momentum when the pandemic was over, I wasn't sure if I had it in me to lead the team or pull through the team. And I knew everybody was waiting for that answer. Just let's go, and let's pack up and just run as fast as we can. And we've been doing it ever since.
So you put yourself in this vulnerable place. You risked everything to keep the restaurant alive. What came from that? What did you learn?
Working through COVID, I think I really learned to be innovative and be more adaptive. I learned to be more innovative and also be more adaptive to change. Switching operations from a full-scale indoor dining to 5, 6, 7 maybe different venues of sale was something that we weren't ready for, and it really put everybody on the edge. But at the end of the day, we put ourselves together, figure out what was the best options for each, such as delivery to national delivery of beef, frontline foods to the workers that are in the hospitals. I think we came together as a group, and we're now stronger individually, but as a group, I think we're even stronger than ever.
So being in a place of vulnerability taught you innovation and strength. Or what would you say?
Yeah, I think being in vulnerability, it taught me, or I learned to be more innovative, adaptive to change, and through that, we became stronger.
So 2020 was definitely my most vulnerable year, but what it taught me was the power of connectivity. So 2 things happened at once. The first thing was the pandemic hit and our restaurant had to close. The second is that my book came out, Wine Girl, where I talked about some of the hardest things that had happened to me, from abuse and misogyny and rape in the sommelier world. So these 2 things landed at the same time in March. And I would wake up every morning to messages from people calling me a whore and a slut and not believing me. And then I would come to work here and we're all struggling to try and keep this restaurant afloat through delivery and shipping nationwide steaks. It was an extremely low point for me. And, of course, my husband said, don't read the comments on your book reviews. And that meant that I read all the comments. And I went to this really dark place. But what brought me out of there was I realized that I wasn't in this by myself. So here at Cote, we have an amazing team and support system. And one day I remember coming to Cote and our GM, Amy, was having like a breakdown. And I realized, this was someone I always thought was so strong. And it's normal to go through these times in which you feel so low. And instead of focusing on what made me so different from others, I focused on what we all had in common. And that shared strength was a beautiful thing. Suddenly I got messages from women who had gone through the same things as me. And we started collecting those stories. And we came together to really change the sommelier world for the better. And here at Cote, we banded together to try and build something that was really meaningful for the restaurant world. We were there when people were going through also a very similarly dark time. No one has had it easy in 2020. The pandemic has not been a walk in the park for anyone, but I think one of the most important things as an essential worker is recognizing the vulnerability and recognizing the power of connectivity and that opportunity that's there. And so I wouldn't change 2020. I wouldn't want to do it again, maybe, but it definitely taught me that there's power and strength in connecting with others.